on NAZ Today, a dangerous outbreak has hit the NAU campus. We have information and tips to keep healthy. And identity theft is always a concern. Find out how to protect yourself this tax season. Good evening and welcome to NAZ Today. I'm Kaylee Emery. Thanks for joining me. On Thursday, a 20-year-old NAU student was taken into Flagstaff Medical Center with a suspected case of meningitis. Meningitis is an infection of the spinal cord fluid as the fluid then surrounds the brain. This infection has flu-like symptoms that students should be aware of.
For both viral and bacterial are going to be the headache, the nausea, sensitivity to light, lethargy, confusion. So the symptoms are more enhanced with bacterial meningitis, and you may experience high fever, the severe confusion, stiff neck.
Meningitis can be easily spread by the sharing of saliva. It is important to stray away from sharing common objects such as drinks and cigarettes.
Well, bacterial meningitis, you have to have pretty close personal contact because we have to remember bacteria doesn't survive real well outside of the body. You're not going to get it just from being in the same room with somebody, most likely.
The more severe symptoms of the infection can include rashes that, if left untreated, may require amputation. With such severe consequences, a simple shot should be an easy alternative.
Prevention is always important with any illness, and bacterial meningitis, many forms of it, can be prevented through receiving vaccination.
For NAZ Today, I'm Ryan Maderick.
For more information on this outbreak, you can visit our website at naztoday.com. It's a woman's worst fear, and unfortunately, it happens far too often. 1 in 5 women in America have been raped, a startling statistic, even more so in a college town like Flagstaff. 1 in 5 women were also sexually assaulted while in college, according to the study done by the White House Council on Women and Girls. President Obama is taking steps to help reduce that number. NAZ Today's Nancy Harrison shares a Flagstaff rape victim's story and her incredible strength.
And I wanted to write a book that would say to other survivors, you are not alone.
Heartfelt words from Flagstaff author Laura Gray Rosendale, who recently wrote this book.
A hand shuts off my scream. I thrash, strain my neck to see a face. This was your classic stranger rape. Do what I say or I'll kill you. Holding a sharp object to my throat, suffocating me.
It happened on Syracuse University's campus. This week, President Barack Obama assigned a newly formed task force of college administrators 90 days to formulate a list of recommendations on preventing and responding to college sexual assaults.
When a young woman drops out of school after being attacked, it's not just a loss for her, that's a loss for our country.
I'm super pleased.
Myra Farrell-Womachill works with survivors at the Coconino County's Victim Witness Office. While she says the president's plans to reach out and educate men about sexual assaults is good,
personally, I think that it would be more effective to start with children, really, working with children, middle school children and high school children around these issues, because they're eventually going to go to college, and it'd be better if they were educated by the time they got to college.
And with the help of her book, College Girl, Gray Rosendale hopes survivors of sexual assault will connect.
I'm thrilled. I don't think this is a panacea. I don't think this is the end of the conversation, but it's a really important and interesting turn in the conversation.
For NAZ Today, I'm Nancy Harrison.
Tax season is sneaking up on us, and if you're not careful, identity thieves could be too. To keep yourself and your tax returns safe, it's important to be aware of the dangers associated with sharing information like your social security number. The public information officer from the IRS's Criminal Investigation Division came into the studio to explain these dangers.
I'm here with Special Agent Brian Watson, and we're talking about identity theft, and it's a huge problem within this country. What do you do to address it?
Right, well, if people are familiar with identity theft, if their identity is stolen and credit cards are open, what we're seeing, unfortunately, is these thieves crossing over into filing tax returns, getting someone's personal information, filing a tax return, getting your withholding back, and all of a sudden, when you go to file a tax return, the IRS tells you, hey, someone's already filed, there's a problem here. So it's a big hassle, and we're acknowledging it, we're putting all of our efforts into it, and we're trying to stop it, and we're just telling people to take certain steps, to try to prevent it in the future.
So not only if I go under being a victim of identity theft, I cannot get my tax return.
Right, and sometimes it can take up to 3 to 6 months to get it. It's a big hassle. So we tell people, try to prevent in the first place. Be careful what websites you go to. Make sure you have firewall on your computer and security patches. Make sure you don't just give out your social security number for no reason, for any reason. Challenge somebody if they say, I need a social security number. And also, if you get an unsolicited email, we're all familiar with those phishing emails, the Nigerian scams and things like that. Delete that email. Do not go there. We're not going to send you an email saying you have a small refund from the IRS. Delete that email. If you have IRS questions, go directly to the source.
So are you seeing a lot of problems with identity theft linked to the internet and just emails in general, or is it more of an outside basis?
These thieves get the information from a variety of places, but the most dangerous place is the internet, and people going to sites and clicking on links that they really shouldn't go to.
So what kind of precautions in general do you do to stop these people from taking the tax return that doesn't belong to them?
Well, the IRS, we have a lot of computer programs. We have very smart people in place, and we stop a lot of this. But the problem is we're trying to get people their refunds timely and very quickly, so we have to walk that fine line between stopping everything and getting everything out quickly. But we have a lot of very good people who are stopping it. But some of it, unfortunately, does happen.
Absolutely. Now, thank you so much, Brian Watson, for coming in today, and I really hope nobody is a victim of identity theft.
Great, thank you.
Flagstaff is a musical town. Find out where local musicians are jamming out on their free time.
I'm Terry Markson. As seasons change, so does the inventory at Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac. But before we make room for the 2014 Cadillacs, we've still got a huge selection of brand new 2013s to choose from. Models like the powerful CTS, the ATS voted 2013 Car of the Year, the popular SRX crossover, and Cadillac's crown jewel, the Escalade. You can always count on our same relaxed, no pressure environment. Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac, real hometown value.
Flagstaff is a place where local music and art thrive, and the inspiration behind community culture can come from some unlikely places, even from across the pond in Ireland. It's no secret that Flagstaff is nowhere near most Irish cultural centers, but that doesn't mean that the locals aren't embracing the tunes of the Emerald Isle.
You might expect to hear local musicians playing jigs or reels at a pub somewhere in Ireland, but what about a pub in downtown Flagstaff?
It's Sunday night at Charlie's, and community members just like you and I are gathering here with instrument cases to play an Irish session.
So an Irish session is an informal gathering of musicians, amateur and professional, that we just get together every week and we play tunes that we have in common. We don't improvise unlike a bluegrass jam session, and it's just a time for people to get together and talk, play music, have a few drinks, and enjoy each other.
What makes it unique is that we're in Flagstaff, Arizona, which is a long ways away from the hotbeds of Irish music. And I think that another thing that is unique about our session is that we're pretty welcoming all in all.
We have math professors, French professors, IT people. Pretty much nobody is a professional musician except for myself. Everyone else is pretty much an amateur and has a real day job.
A lot of times we have the windows open and people are walking by and they hear the music and they come in, sit down for a while. They might be from locals from in town. They've never heard us before and they're just strolling along on a Sunday night, or they're a tourist from out of town.
I love playing with other people and the energy that's produced when we play a song that we all love and we're all in tune and jamming with it. It's so much fun.
For NAZ Today with videographer Gavin Dunham, I'm Sierra Ferguson.
If you would like to drop in on a session, they take place on Sunday nights at 7 o'clock. You can find Charlie's at 23 North LaRue in downtown Flagstaff. And if you're looking for something to do this weekend, consider Slugs from Space. They're a quartet that includes jazz, rock, and classical pieces in their repertoire. They will be performing at Full Circle Thrift. The public is invited to attend this event on Saturday from 12 to 2. All proceeds will go to benefit the Flagstaff Symphony Orchestra. Will there be potential sunshine? Lee Born has more coming up.
At Northern Arizona University, we're reaching for the stars. And I'm True Blue NAU.
We're restoring our forests.
And I'm True Blue NAU.
It's our home away from home.
And we're True Blue NAU.
I'm learning to make the world a safer place.
And I'm True Blue NAU.
We're building the 21st century university. And I am True Blue NAU.
Shop with pride. Wear your Northern Arizona University gear on Fridays. Be True Blue NAU.
All right, kind of frustrating, some cloud cover, but no moisture to speak of. It's all high cirrus clouds, and we started off taking a look at it on the southwest satellite. Here we are, Arizona, and all these clouds streaming in out of the subtropics, and it's just all high clouds. If we do look at it on radar, there are some radar echoes showing up, but it's all virga, or kind of moisture. It doesn't reach ground. Lower levels of the atmosphere still remain very dry, so any type of clouds that look like they might bring us some precipitation, they're not going to. Anything coming out of them will evaporate before it hits the ground. Our high temperature today in Flagstaff in the mid-40s. Still a little bit of a northerly breeze out there. This is right around average high temperature for this time of year, 43 the average. And we had a very mild overnight last night. That was due to the breeze and also the cloud cover keeping us well insulated at the surface. Of course, our precipitation is hurting, and we just keep getting farther and farther behind here as they are now at day 34 with no precipitation. You got to go back to December 22nd to find a day with some precip here in Flagstaff. So this is the 5th longest dry spell, winter dry spell in 115 years. Record keeping in Flagstaff goes all the way back to 1898. So I hate to beat a dead horse, but we're going to keep track of this because we're approaching the all-time record longest dry spell, which is 39 degrees, set back in 1917, and it appears that we will break that as there's nothing in the forecast. And we'll just take a peek out here in the Pacific, and it's not hard to see our ridge of high pressure. Here it is, centered right off Pacific Northwest, and it's all blue skies under that. Any type of Pacific storm systems well up over the top, and then the storm track drops down right the spine of the Rockies. They're getting a little bit of moisture under this weather pattern as storms just skirt the Rockies, and then all the cold air dropping into the eastern portion of the United States. So we're going to continue with this weather pattern this weekend and right into next week. It's just a persistent, resilient weather pattern. There's the storm track, a little bit of snow in the Rockies, frigid air dropping into the Midwest, lots of snow up into the east and along the Great Lakes. So we're going to continue with this for at least another week or so. So for us overnight, going into Saturday, we remain mostly cloudy with those clouds that we looked at on the satellite picture. So we'll just go with that same temperature we had last night. Cloud cover kind of keeping us insulated. So milder temperatures as it would be if we were clear skies, and then all the heat gets lost to space and we cool down much more than we would with cloud cover. Tomorrow, a little bit warmer. We're done with that northerly breeze and we move into less of a breezy situation, allow temperatures to get out of the 40s and into the 50s, 52 degrees, and it'll be partly cloudy out there once again on Saturday. Statewide temperatures on Saturday, 66 Sedona, 62 Prescott, 76 degrees down in Phoenix. Here's a look at that extended forecast for us. Temperatures remain in the 50s, sunshine throughout, a little bit occasional high cloud cover, but we're low mid 50s the whole way through. And for you down in Sedona, here's a look at the numbers. Pretty gorgeous, in the mid upper 60s the whole way through. Kaylee, gonna send it back over to you.
Thanks for that update, Lee. And a quick happy birthday shout out to Flagstaff's Mitch Stroman. And thank you all at home so much for tuning in. We'll see you here Monday night. Have a good evening.